Yes.
Okay, so my dream started. That's what I wanted to be always growing up. Unfortunately, due to circumstances as I've already indicated, it did not happen. Um, I remember applying initially for medical school in 1994 and got accepted. However, uh, my then spouse at the time wasn't supportive of the idea. So that dream was, let's say, down the journey, it was either my family, my children, or medical school. So I chose my children. I had to give them an education, help them on their way, and it was tough for me, having been accepted and not being able to go because I did not have the support of my spouse. So I left it on the back burner, and then I remember I applied in Canada. I really wanted to go to McMaster's University. They have a beautiful program there. I have a grade point average of 3.85. I was on the Dean's list, I graduated cum laude and all that stuff, but I did not get into medical school. And I said, okay, that's it. And all the doctors I work with, they encouraged me. They said, don't give up. It took me maybe twice or three times. Everybody was giving me their story, but I was like, you were young. Look at me at my age, right? So, and as I said, I left it on the back burner. But I did promise myself when my daughter Shemi graduated from high school, that's my last one, from university, sorry, I would attempt to go to medical school again. So I remember Shemi graduated, and I did not tell them anything. I applied. I met a good friend of mine, Avenel Pinat, at the Convent High School branch, and I was telling her that I applied for medicine, I didn't get in and stuff. And she said to me, "Have you thought of going to Dominica to do it at all since? And you can get a scholarship as a Dominican, blah blah blah." So I started to get excited about the idea and the prospect of, yeah, maybe I can do that. It's feasible. However, I had a big decision to make because I was making a lot of money because I'd gone back to school and I became a nurse practitioner, master's prepared, 2 years training and all that, and I had a good salary. So I had both, best of both worlds. I worked with the federal government. I was flown into work everywhere, every 2 weeks, and then I would come back and I work in a private practice in Waterloo for the balance, like 4 days. I did not work the Monday, but I worked Tuesdays to Fridays for the 2 weeks. So it was back and forth. And I was blessed. I made a lot of money. And I had to think about that. But for me, it's not all about the money. I wanted to go to school and make sure that I went after my dream, what I really wanted to do. And if I tried and I failed, then okay, at least I tried. But to just sit back and not do anything about it, that wasn't me.
That wasn't an option.
No, that wasn't an option at all. So after Shemi graduated, I said, "You sure you're graduating, Shemi?" She said, "Yes, mommy." I saw the results, and yes, she was graduating. And I spoken to Avenel. I put in my application, and I got accepted. In fact, that day I went for that interview. I had my sister-in-law visiting, my sister-in-law Glennis visiting Canada, and I was taking her to lunch that day. So I called and I said to her, "I have to pick you up, but there's a place I have to go first. But please don't tell the family, don't tell anybody because my family don't know. I want to go to medical school and I have an interview." And they just called me to set up the interview and I have to go, so we'll be going to lunch late. And she said, "No problem." So I took her with me to the interview. I went to the interview, gave them all the requirements. They asked me for my references. I gave that to them and everything like that. And he said to me, I remember he said to me, "At your age, medical school is very hard. You sure you want to put yourself through that?" He said, "You're a nurse practitioner. You're making good money. Why do you want to go to medical school?" I said, Dr. Yusuf, no offense, but this is what I have always wanted for as long as I can remember. And if I'm given the opportunity, forget about my age. Age is just a number. I am going to do the best that I can, and I'll try very hard. I'm a hard worker, and I will make it. I know I'll succeed with the help of God, of course. And he said, okay, so he still came back and he asked me the same question, like in my mind, what's wrong with this man? I've given you my answer. And I gave him the same response again. I said to him, sir, I'm determined. And if I get the opportunity, yes, I'm going to. And I said, yes, I know nurse practitioners make a lot of money, but it's not all about the money. For me, it's not about the money. It's what I really, really want to do, what I want to achieve. And if I am not given the opportunity, I said to him, well, it looks like I'll have to be applying at McMaster's. Maybe when I'm 70 years or whatever, they'll have to accept me when they'll see I'm sending applications every year. So then I got accepted, and I remember I went home and I called a family meeting, and I told them I was going to medical school. They were laughing at me. They're like,
I probably would have to myself.
they're like, Mommy making a joke. It's a big joke. And I tell them, yeah. And I went about my business. I started to pack my stuff, and I'm like this, and I'm like, okay, I have to give notice. But I didn't want to give up my job, because this was working with the federal government was a really good job, good benefits. And I'm like, and as I said, the money was really, really good. And I'm like, but it's not about the money, it's about what I want to do. So I called human resources and I spoke to a few people. I asked them for options. I called my immediate manager and I said to her, I would like to go back to school, and I want some time off. So she said to me, we can give you 1 year educational leave. I said, no, it requires more than that. She said, what are you going to do? I said, medicine. She said, oh, we cannot help you, because it's going to be more than a year. We cannot give you more than a year, so you have to resign. I'm like, I have to resign. I call another person, same story. So I made a decision. I prayed about it. And I remember when I decided, I was up on one of the reservations, and that's where I say, you know what, I have to go for it. I have to give up everything and start from scratch. If that's what I have to do, I have to try, because I've done my best for my family, I've done my best for my children, and I believe now is my turn.
You have to do something for yourself.
Myself, yes. And I decided, yeah, I'm going to medical school. So I had gotten the letter that I got accepted. So I had like, I think 3 weeks to respond back and to also send the money. So as I said, I was on the reserve, so I called them and I said to them that I was out of town and there's no banks where I'm at. So yes, I have accepted the offer, and when I come back, they say no, they need the money. So I had to try my best to try and see what I could do. So I called my Anne at the bank, and I say, Anne, this is my situation. I am going to go to medical school. She says, you're going to go to medical school? Oh my God, Veronica, good for you. I said, but I need help. I need to get certain amount of money, either by money order or whatever, or send it to the school. So Anne helped me, and I was able to pay the
deposit
and everything. So I came back and I gave my my resignation to Health Canada. It was sad, and that chapter was very sad, giving up. And here I am. So that was the journey. And